Hey guys, Wake Up Wednesdays. So wake up. You did your follow-up Fridays. You scheduled all of your meetings for the upcoming week. You took the weekend off and you relaxed because you knew you had your schedule going for Monday. Come Monday, 7 a.m., you hit the ground running. Tuesday, you had all your different meetings, and now you're in Wednesday. And maybe things didn't go according to plan. Maybe you're starting to slow down a little bit. Maybe the week's starting to take its toll on you. And so, welcome to Wake Up Wednesdays. Congratulations, you're halfway through the week. What I wanted to talk to you guys today about was the post I posted earlier in the week in the group chat that got a little bit of back and forth, and it was good dialogue. I loved it, but it was talking about consistency, and consistency creates champions. Consistency is like the water that brushes up against the rock, and over time, the water can actually wear down the rock because over time, it just keeps brushing up against it. So, consistency is a superpower. And if you want to get better in your program, if you want to get better with your product suite, if you want to get better in your personal business or even your personal life, it's not the sexy new thing, it's consistency. And I know consistency isn't a very sexy topic, but it's an important one. And there are some tips I wanted to share with you on how to be consistent and remain consistent. And the first, very most important tip is that it starts with a vision. It starts with the mission statement. It starts with an outcome, a deliverable. It starts with a goal. If your goal isn't clear, if the outcome isn't clear, if the mission statement isn't clear, it's going to be much harder to be consistent. So it needs to be clear and it needs to be achievable. The acronym for this is usually SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. That's the acronym. Once you set that goal, once you set that vision, you want to then break that down into manageable chunks that you can execute against. The next most important thing after you have that vision is what's sometimes called your daily disciplines, or what I call your habitual habits. If you've set a clear outcome, if you've set a clear goal, if you've set a clear mission statement, if your program or your product's vision is clear, but you're not achieving the outcomes you want, it's because of your daily disciplines or your habitual habits. Show me what you're doing every day, even if I don't know what your vision, what your goals are, and I'll tell you where you're going to end up. The routines and the habits that you do every day inside of your program for your specific product in your personal business or even in your personal life are going to make a world of difference. So if your mission statement or your goal is something like, by Q3 of this year, I want to have application ABC migrated onto the cloud using AWS services. If your vision or your mission or your goal is, within my program, by Q4, by Thanksgiving of this year, I want to have us incorporated into AI and machine learning tools for our client services teams, for our sales and trading teams, for our PMO offices, using services like ChatGPT. In your personal life, it might be something like, in 3 months' time, I want to reduce my body fat by X. You want to make it SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. Whether you hit that or not, whether you hit those goals or not, are going to come down to your daily disciplines and your habitual habits, your routines that are executed consistently. So it's not enough in your program. For example, if you have a daily huddle, a scrum, or a Kanban meeting, It's not enough if you have a bi-weekly review or a retro, a monthly working group, a quarterly business review. Are you having these every quarter? Are you doing these every month? At the end of every sprint? Do you hold these things every day? This is where the consistency comes in. The next important tip is time boxing, prioritizing, and scheduling. Schedule times to get these things done. Once you put it on the calendar and you stick to the calendar, it increases the probability that you'll actually achieve these things. It's not enough to just say it's a priority. It's not enough to just say you're going to do it. You want to actually put them on the calendar and then consistently stick to that calendar. What I said earlier about chunking, breaking things down into smaller, more manageable parts, that's the next step. Taking a very, very big goal, a big vision, migrating to the cloud, using AI and machine learning in my personal life, reducing my body fat, increasing my muscle mass, in my personal business, increasing my customers by 20%. That might seem daunting to work towards. By breaking it down into smaller parts, scheduling those smaller parts daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, it increases the probability that you'll actually stay consistent and hit those goals. Once you have that in place, the next step is to have some type of measuring stick, some type of gauge measuring tool in place that tells you whether you're achieving your goals or not. My car is old. My car is 16 years old. I love it. I take great care of it. Gas is expensive right now. It's very expensive. I don't have a fancy electric car. I have a very simple gas car. I know I want to get better with my gas mileage. My car has a gauge in it that tells me how efficient I am at driving with my fuel, based on how I accelerate, how I brake, how well I'm doing with my fuel efficiency. What are the tracking tools you have in place to track towards your goal? In your personal life, if you say, well, I want to reduce my body fat and increase my muscle mass, there are tools out there that can track these things for you. If you're doing a new product rollout and you say, when I roll this product out in Q4, it's going to increase my customer satisfaction by 35%. There are metrics tools out there you can use to gauge things like your customer satisfaction. If your goal is to say, I want to have application ABC XYZ migrated onto a cloud-based platform by Q3 of this year, you can take that application, break it down by components, and take the percentage of the components that have been migrated, that have been put onto a cloud-based computing platform versus the ones that aren't. There's many ways to track your progress, but it's important that you track your progress and you have some type of gauge in place. The next tip is to have someone that's going to hold you accountable. This is a large part of my role as someone that manages large-scale programs, global implementations. I hold people accountable in the most positive way possible, whether that's helping them in a daily meeting, a weekly meeting, a monthly meeting, a quarterly meeting at all levels throughout the organization, whether the C-suite or down to the fundamental folks that build the most important things on a daily basis. Our product designers, our developers. It's, hey guys, we said we were going to do X. Have we actually done that? We said we were going to do Y. When we track against our progress, here's where we really are, right? And having someone hold you accountable, that's a lot of what I do in my day-to-day. I help to hold people accountable and to positively move them forward. If you don't have a program manager, have someone in your space, have a stakeholder that has a vested interest in the outcome, hold you accountable. And then the last tip is to, be positive and be flexible. So things are not always going to go according to plan. Sometimes you're going to need to tweak things. This is where your accountability partner is helpful too. They can help you to stay positive, help you to see the light at the end of the tunnel, help you to look at the percentage that you have gotten completed and not be so worried about the daunting task about the percentage that's still left to do. It's focusing on the positive, focusing on what's done to move forward. So once again, consistency creates champions. If you have a clear vision, if you have a clear outcome, and you're not achieving that vision, you're not achieving that outcome, you're not hitting your deliverable, I can assure you, you're not doing these things, not because you're a bad person, or not because your program isn't structured the right way, or not because your product isn't selecting the right target market. That stuff might be true, and it's certainly worth some analysis, but it's probably because of your daily disciplines and your habitual habits are not there. Whatever you do every day, every week, every month, every quarter, and those habits are going to dictate the outcomes. So if I had to pick one of these tips as the most important tip, after I made sure that the mission, that the vision was clear, I would say it's the daily disciplines, it's the routines, it's the habits. These are super crucial. Okay, guys, so Wake Up Wednesdays. Congratulations again, halfway through the week. And this is on consistency. So it's not only about how to be consistent, but how to stay consistent over time. And all of the tips we covered, especially on the daily disciplines and the habitual habits. I hope you guys find this useful. Please feel free to let me know what your thoughts are and comment below. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.